Welcome to episode 21 of the Animorphs read-along broadcast. Today we are talking about Megamorphs number 2, In the Time of the Dinosaurs. In the Time of Dinosaurs. Megamorph books never fail to deliver a huge change of pace from the run-of-the-mill Animorphs formula. It's probably the book in the Animorphs series that I've reread the most. It's like all my favorite characters meets dinosaurs, meets aliens, like what is not to love? So this whole thing starts out, interestingly enough, with the Animorphs going to help in the search for a lost submarine. They're just kind of like playing the superhero and just using their powers for good because they can. This has nothing to do with the Yeerks. I just realized like the Yeerks literally have nothing to do with this entire book, which is super cool. So similar to what happened in book 11, there's a big explosion in this book and it creates a Sario rip. So they time travel because they were so close to this explosion. Oddly enough, no one else who was close to the explosion time travels, but I'll let that be. They wind up traveling 65 million years in the past to the late Cretaceous period. They get attacked by dinosaurs, and Tobias and Rachel actually get eaten, like they go down the throat and into the stomach and are being digested. And Jake decides that it's not worth trying to save them, like they're a lost cause, so he and the other three swim away back to shore. So for most of the book, Tobias and Rachel are separated from the rest of the gang, and the others pretty much think that they're dead. This is interesting because obviously, like, it sort of amps up the seriousness of this book, and because we get to have two separate stories being told. But I kind of felt bad for Tobias because, like, it was just so clear that everyone was missing Rachel more. Like, Cassie's Rachel's best friend, and Marco and Rachel have this weird dynamic and weird relationship, and Jake is Rachel's cousin. So everyone was like, yeah, like, Rachel's dead. And Tobias too, maybe. Yeah, bummer. I was like, poor Tobias, like, I'll mourn your death. So Tobias and Rachel end up being badasses and escaping from the dinosaur stomach thanks to the fact that Rachel wears grizzly and like tears her way out. But they're both pretty severely injured and worn out. And their part was the part that I loved so much when I was a kid, because I guess I was like a hardcore Tobias and Rachel shipper when I was a kid. It's funny, as an adult, I'm just like not carrying that torch anymore. I still love Tobias and Rachel, but I'm not like, oh my gosh, Tobias and Rachel. Meanwhile, Cassie, Jake, Marco, and Ax actually get chased by a T-Rex. And thanks to like a stroke of luck, Ax is able to kill it. And then Cassie goes into like hardcore survival mode, which is so cool to see. She's like, okay guys, we're gonna make sandals out of the T-Rex flesh, we're gonna have T-Rex jerky for food, building a campfire, and like standing watch overnight. It's just really fun. It's like very, you know, Gary Paulson's Hatchet. But so like this is still Animorphs, so there has to be some sort of like crazy sci-fi twist besides the time travel. So it turns out back in the Cretaceous period, there were also like sentient alien life forms living on Earth, namely the Nesk and the Mercora. The Nesk are bad and the Mercora are good. They know that they need a big explosion in order to get back to their own time, so they decide to steal a nuclear weapon from the Nesk, and they end up having this full-out fight with the Nesk, and I guess they like win. It doesn't really seem to me like they're crushing them, but apparently they are a strong enough opponent that the Nesk actually decide to like leave Earth forever, and they're pissed off that they had to do that, so they are the ones who caused the comet that destroyed dinosaurs to veer towards Earth. So the Animorphs have this nuclear weapon, and they're like, okay, the Mercora maybe can stop the comet from coming if they use the nuke to like blow it up into little bits. But Tobias goes behind their backs and has Ax disable the nuke because he's like, guys, the meteor has to hit. This is how mammals evolve. This is how humans eventually become possible. It all starts here with the end of the dinosaurs. And everyone's very upset. He's letting the Mercora, who have really been their allies, die. Tough decisions, gray morality. This is the Animorphs. When the comet finally does hit, of course, it closes the Sario rip, and they're plummeted back to the future. Cassie in particular has been having a rough time with the last couple books. Just the violence and the destruction of life, like it's not sitting well with her. There's a scene where she really doesn't want to morph into a T-Rex. It's a predator, it's a killer. She feels very hesitant to go into that place, and then ends up getting lost in the morph and actually killing a Triceratops like for no reason. And it, you know, it's not that big of a deal, but to Cassie, it is a big deal. Marco is talking about how when it comes down to survival, it's kill or be killed. Morality and guilt is just crap. And Cassie in response says, you're wrong. Yeah, we're just animals ourselves. But we're the animals who can think. We're the animals who can imagine something better than kill or be killed. I don't think predators are immoral. I'm not an idiot, whatever you may think. But I'm a human, okay? And I have to think and care, and I have to feel things. Otherwise, I might as well be some gangbanger or a Nazi or a yerk, Ax supplied. Cassie's, once again, not an idiot, in her words. She understands that hard decisions have to be made, but she refuses to make them without feeling something. Her morality and guilt is what makes her human. So yeah, those are all my thoughts about Megamorphs number 2 in the time of the dinosaurs. The next book is book number 19. It's just one of the greats of this series, so I'm super pumped. If you want to keep up with this read along, subscribe to this channel or follow me on Twitter, and I will see you on Monday.